Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. I just want to do a quick sound check to make sure that the sound is okay. So please let me know in the chat function if you're happy with the sound quality and if you can see the presentation, then we'll get away. So please let me know in the chat if you can hear the audio okay. Okay. Audio is loud and clear. Cool, and you can see my screen, you can see the presentation. Cool stuff. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. I want to welcome you to this webinar today. My name is Tertius. I'll be, I'm going to say the moderator. That's the correct terminology for that. Today we're talking smart and safe cities, and I've got two of my friends, one from Milestone called Hyder and one from BriefCam called Mo in short. So we'll get this ball rolling. I'll jump into just who we are, just the attendees for today, or the speakers for today, sorry. So myself and Hyder and Mo. And like I said, we're from Access, Milestone and BriefCam. And some of the agenda we're going to look at today, we're touching on what is a smart city. I think from my side, it's very important that a lot of people almost assume what is a smart city. If you go into the internet, there's so many different terminologies about what is a smart city, and just give a bit of insights from our side of what we see as a smart city. Then we'll jump into some smart city layers to really show you what this concept is and how everything fits together. That's also extremely important. And then also what to make it a bit more practical and not do a death by PowerPoint. Today we'll focus on 3 scenarios or 3 challenges that you typically will find in a smart city environment. We'll also do a bit of a demo, and here Mo and Hyder will give us a bit of insights and a bit of a practical side of this session. And then we'll leave all the questions to the end for a Q&A. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the Q&A session or the questions tab. We will have a look at them at the end, and we'll just jump into them at the end. All right. So from our side, what is the purpose of this webinar today and why Access, Milestone and BriefCam? So again, it's a really close strategic partnership, covering all 3, or probably 3 of the 4 layers of a smart city. We'll show you this in a little bit more detail later. We're really talking about future-proof solutions where we have intelligent cameras with intelligent analytics, everything tying into a platform and a VMS, giving you a really good usage. And one of the challenges when you talk about smart cities is, what do we do with all this footage? What do we do with all this material in a smart city? When we talk about smart cities, we don't talk about maybe 1 or 2 cameras. We talk about a few thousand cameras. Now you can imagine if you walk into a control room or an operations center of a smart city, how do you make sense of this information? And this is really where the quality of the analytics and the quality of the platform is really highlighting your efficiency of your system. Again, really highlighting that we've got a global presence and global support. These are extremely important. We always want to, from our side, we want to work with you together to make sure that you have the support and the presence and the people there to support you all the way. And that's why you see 3 different faces here today. You don't only see my face, really showing the synergy that we have as 3 companies working closely together. So jumping into what is a smart city. So you could see from Wikipedia, a smart city is an urban area that uses different types of sensor technology. Now, very important from our side, if you look on the IoT or the edge device side, and I'll show this at the end, it's really interesting how camera purpose has really evolved over years from security devices to really becoming multifunctional devices, and how we use the information that these devices give us and do so much more than purely just looking at security. We're looking at the urbanized section, we're looking at the environmental side of it, we're really looking at the public safety. So there's really so much more that these devices offer us at the end of the day. Again, there's the data itself is really what is the key for us here. And again, at the end of the day, a camera really becomes a sensor. It's just a visual sensor. So that's really where the power of these devices will come into a smart city environment. Now, also, just to give you a bit more insight, what we say a smart city for us in the way we use technology will then evolve into going into a safe city. And that's why smart cities and safe cities is really a concept that goes hand in hand. And technology is there to help us to breach and to make a smart city as also a safe city at the end of the day. So jumping into the layers of a smart city, of course, the network is extremely important. This is the backbone, this is the infrastructure which we need to bring all of this technology together. When we talk about the sensors, these are really the eyes and the ears and the nose of this infrastructure, which gives you visuals. You can really go into a lot more detail here. Then we talk about the analytics, and the analytics is the power that makes sense of this information. So we get so many hours and so many thousands of I had a conversation the other day. I remember when we still talk about gigabyte hard drives and terabytes were coming in. A lot of people now is talking about a concept called zettabytes. And I had to think to myself, what is a zettabyte? Now, this really shows you the amount of data that is available in a smart city environment. And how do we actually make sure that this information is sensible and the right people actually get the correct information at the end of the day? And this is now where the analytics really helps us in the first step. And the platform at the end of the day is which ties everything together. And this is where we can pull useful reporting. This is where we can really make sense of the information at the end of the day in a quick and an easy way. So what we've identified for today's webinar is we've identified three challenges that we typically find in the smart city. So what we've highlighted is we'll start off with a challenge called forensic search. Then we'll look at vehicle identification, and we'll also look at traffic flow monitoring. Now, what we'll do is we'll go into a concept of a little bit talking from different aspects. We'll look at from the sensor side, we'll look at the analytics side, and then we'll also look from the platform side, how these challenges, what do we do to overcome these challenges? What do we do to really enhance these challenges that we get at the end of the day? So when we jump into forensic search in smart cities, one of the biggest challenges that we find is color. Could be one of the biggest challenges in any environment nowadays. Now, when you look at the camera itself, we always talk about the forensic information that an image gives you. Now, the forensic information in a smart city, in this concept, could be the difference between the correct and the incorrect color of a vehicle. Now, you'll see in this picture, light finder technology allows us to really get true color, even in difficult or low lighting conditions. And again, color is starting to play such a big role in how we work with data and how we analyze data. Now, you can imagine we can look for people's shirts as an example. We can look for vehicles' colors. We can really start identifying trends and things in the environment based on color. The other thing which is important is what happens when the light goes away. And we might have very dark environments. What happens in some cities when the power goes off? And now here we talk about optimized infrared, and here we talk about using intelligent infrared technology to see when it's extremely dark, and how do we still get good forensic details from an information and from a scene. And then the last one, which is probably the most challenging, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this, especially in the Middle East this time of the year when it's summer, it's extremely hot outside. We have this big contrast in the pictures. Now, the contrast, it makes the life of the device extremely difficult. And if you see at the bottom, you'll see, I can see there's an object, but that contrast in light really makes your life very difficult to understand and get that forensic information from the picture. Now, I'm going to jump over to BriefCam. I'm going to jump over to Mo. I'm just going to give you keyboard and mouse control.
Mm-hmm.
Can you use it, Mo?
Let me just check if I have. Not really, no. Don't have the keyboard and mouse control.
You're gonna do it, okay. Otherwise, I can just pass it on.
Exactly. I'll just let you know when
Sure, no
when
problem.
to click next. All right. So thank you very much, Tertius, for the warm welcome, and thank you to everyone who actually took out time to join this webinar. BriefCam, we are the technology that allows you to review videos fast, hence the name of BriefCam. We invented and own the worldwide patents for the video synopsis solution. This analytic feature allows organizations to review hours of video in minutes, sometimes even seconds. But we are so much more than that. We have a platform approach to video analytics. BriefCam's solution is a trifecta of complementary solutions empowering users to transform video into actionable intelligence. BriefCam uniquely fuses computer vision and deep learning technologies, making videos searchable, actionable, and quantifiable. For the purposes of this demo, we will stick to just the searchable part of it, which is our review module. So let's focus on that. We accelerate investigations. We have the ability to actually quickly search and filter objects and events of interest by gender, men, women, children, by vehicles, quickly and easily reaching out to and getting the list of 28 different classes and attributes, in addition to facial recognition and license plate recognition, all comprised in one, such as appearance similarity, colors, size, speed, direction. With the healthcare crisis, we had additional features listed under BriefCam, and we provide face mask detection and proximity contact tracing capabilities added to our powerful and our set of distinct search combinations. Search combinations like a child wearing red, or a person wearing a hat, or traveling in a particular direction. This unique combination of advanced analytical capabilities enables breakthrough time to search, and it increases dramatically your productivity. Next slide, please. All right. BriefCam video content analytics helps save cities in the following 4 areas. Not only does our forensics search capability with our patented video synopsis solution enable the acceleration of post-event investigations through rapid review and granular search, but also attaining situational awareness through live analytics by quickly responding to a rapidly developing situation. And finally, deriving operational intelligence from video, our third module, which is our research, helping with behavioral trends, crowd management based on movement patterns, and to optimize traffic flow and safety. This better together paradigm, this platform approach, is our unique proposition to our end users, with unmatched accuracy of object detection across classes and attributes, our superior performance supporting both on-demand and real-time analytics, coupled with our flexible architecture that is designed to meet your business needs of today and tomorrow. At this point, I would like to, Tertius, take over the demo and show you our demo environment. Thank you.
Should be over to you.
I do. Does everybody see my screen?
Yep, we do.
Yes.
Excellent. So with this part of the presentation, I'd like to show you a forensics search capability, and I'd like to show you our beautiful Sheikh Zayed Road. All right. Our server in the US is responding a little bit slower than possible. Let me just try and refresh our page. Interesting. Right. Hopefully this time it works. So now what you see right now is the Sheikh Zayed Road. Let me stop this here for a minute. As I mentioned, our patented video synopsis software What it has done is basically removed every object that's in the scene, which are 1,758 objects. And we have taken the dead space between these objects away from them. And now we are showing you all the objects superimposed on one background. Now, in this case, to highlight our forensics capability, we were notified that the object of interest is actually a school bus. So the first thing I'll do is go through my 28 classes, and I will remove everything that is not a bus. Just by one click over here, click on a bus, and automatically the AI engine has removed everything else which is not a bus. And now we have 42 objects out of 1,758 objects which are buses. But we were also informed that it wasn't just a bus, but it was actually a yellow bus that caused the issue. And now we're down to 6 yellow buses that we have. We were further given details that not only is it a yellow bus, but it was actually traveling in the east direction. So all I do is just change directions, and we're down to 2 buses that actually traveled in the east direction. And if I was to be a bit more particular, I even have the ability to actually draw a line to see on which lane the bus was traveling on. And we're down to 1 object out of 1,758 objects that caused the issue. And now I have the ability to actually zoom in if I wanted to and see more details on the offending party. Okay, now this is the forensic side of it. Now, remember, it's a better together paradigm. So at the same time, everything that I was doing on that screen was generating a report. So what it's done is actually, I've got a yellow bus. I've got 2 of them traveling in the east direction. And this is how powerful the device is, because what we do is not only do we give you the visual data, but we give you the business intelligence side of things, and we allow you to have that information quantifiably for your action. At this point, I'll give you back the presenter rights, Tertius.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cool stuff. Okay, so screen. I'm gonna just share my screen and then I'll make you hand over to Haider. Okay, okay.
Thank you, Tertius.
Cool. Oh no, sorry, I don't want to share. Apologies. Cancel. Sorry guys, just jumping in between makes it a bit challenging. Okay, can you audience here? Okay, can you screen back up? Ida, can you see that?
Yeah. I can see it, and
okay,
I
cool.
just have the control as well.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Tertius. So I just want to give a little bit of perspective here, where Milestone X-Protect platform comes in. If you recall the slide where Tertius was talking about the layers of smart city, we had the sensor layer where the optical sensor or access devices like IoT or cameras comes into it. Then you had the application layer where we've seen from our colleague Mo, the BriefCam video analytics comes in, and down comes the platform layer, which is where Milestone comes in. So Milestone really acts as a glue, bringing all these technologies and layers of applications and hardware together onto a centralized platform, whereby you can perform all your functions and extensive use cases that you can implement to overcome some of the challenges that we are going to discuss today. Tertius, if you can switch to the next slide, please.
Okay.
So just trying to explain here, giving you an overview of the whole platform approach that we have. If we look at the solution stack as such, again, the layer concept, down at the bottom, we have the hardware layer where our hardware like network, server storage infrastructure, or optical sensors and or IoT, the access camera devices or access edge devices that comes into play. On top, we have the application layer where our BriefCam, video analytics, forensic search capabilities, and all the other forensic applications comes into picture. In the middle, we have the platform layer, and that's where Milestone comes in, Milestone X Protect, by bridging the gap between these two layers and acting as a main platform with all the extensive functionalities of the platform that you can see on your right-hand side, the core functions and features that the platform needs for you to perform your investigations, for you to perform implement those use cases that we're going to discuss today, by bringing the video data onto the platform and then intelligence coming in from BriefCam. Next slide, please.
Okay.
So one of the interesting and very important feature set that I'm going to talk about today is the centralized search. Now, you can well imagine when we talk about the smart city, we'd probably be having thousands of cameras, if not more. And it's all distributed. Now, you're looking for one piece of information, one piece of video data that is the most relevant, the important piece of data that you want out of those 1,000 cameras where you want to perform your search capabilities and where you want to implement your analytics like BriefCam. How do you do that? Now, that is where the platform comes into picture. Centralized search in the Smart Client. Smart Client is our front-end viewing application for the operators that they use to view the live view and other functionalities to perform their day-to-day operations. Centralized search, be it the bookmarks, be it the alarms, events, or even the capabilities of third-party systems like BriefCam, for example, where you want to pinpoint or browse to a video that is most relevant for you. You can do so by having these extensions of our partner community like BriefCam into our search capabilities. So all in all, essentially what we can do or what we can offer is a centralized search capability whereby you can search bookmarks, events, motion, or even the partner extensions like BriefCam all into our centralized search capabilities. So for instance, I want to search for a video out of 1,000 cameras, out of petabytes of storage, the video that is only having vehicle, the video that I bookmarked based on certain event, I can perform that search, and within seconds, I will have the video available in front of you, and you can perform your further investigations or tasks that you want to perform. So it really adds a lot of capabilities, fast investigation, and situational awareness, and especially when it comes to large enterprise systems where in smart cities where you have thousands of cameras. So it really adds a lot of capabilities for you to do your faster investigations. Now, since we're talking about Access and BriefCam, and there's a lot of synergies between the three companies, how we come together, obviously we discussed the data, the video data coming from the edge, from the Access cameras. The analytics or intelligence on the video is added by BriefCam, and Milestone brings it onto the platform. Here, what we are showing that how it is all tightly integrated, how we work very closely together. And if you just click on the video that you can see, this is our main interface, Milestone Smart Client. And on top, what you would see is video synopsis, which is coming from BriefCam, very closely integrated, and how quickly you can simply create a case. The video, give it a name, fetch the video in the time that you're looking for, the time of interest, for example, a certain time period where you feel that the incident or something that is important for you that has happened. You select the cameras from the camera list. This list is populated actually from Milestone. So all the video, the camera list will be popped up, and you can, within that time frame, you will have your video, the results processed and being displayed on Milestone interface immediately. So that shows you how deeply this is integrated and how well it works. With Milestone, you are not switching back and forth between different GUIs. It's the same GUI of Milestone. and it is in fact an embedded client of BriefCam into Milestone interface, and it really helps you performing all those advanced analytics functions all within Milestone coming from BriefCam, and video data being populated into Milestone video database from access cameras. Yeah, next. Plus, like Mo was mentioning, there's a lot of intelligence. This is a research module of BriefCam that is also available in Milestone. All those extensive functionalities that we've spoken about, and here I want to highlight that this really acts as a BI tool inside Milestone. All the intelligence being and the data being populated by BriefCam, and it's really dynamic, it's really flexible based on the information that you're looking for, based on the results and based on the analysis that you want to perform. The data changes dynamically. It's fully customized. You can customize based on your requirements, and based on the results, you can really perform and it gives you visual data visualization where you can make informed decisions based on the data coming. So you can customize it the way that you want based on the vehicles, based on persons, based on the directions. As you can see, you have the heat map here where there's more concentration of people or vehicles. And this really helps you making those informed decisions and really help you visualize all this data that is coming in from several thousands of cameras in the smart city environment. Next slide, please.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So thank you, Haider. Thank you, Mo. So jumping over to the second challenge, here we talk about vehicle identification in smart cities. So in vehicle identification, we talk about, as an example, how would you capture the number plate of a vehicle? Now, currently, the number plate is probably only one of the challenges. Again, going back to the first conversation, the color of the vehicle is also extremely important. Now, what we've also have nowadays is we have specially optimized cameras for license plate recognition. And you would see again the challenge is not during daytime, the challenge is during nighttime, where you have the car's headlights. And this just shows you if you have a normal security camera that needs to do license plate recognition, this can be quite a challenge for the camera and for the operator and for the installer to configure all of this. And you don't want to spend too much time during daytime and nighttime to fine tune the settings of the cameras to actually get the optimal performance working in that regard. So jumping over to you, Mo.
Thank you very much, Tertius. So when it comes to license plate recognition, I cannot exemplify the better together paradigm than this functionality. So in this demo, I would like to actually start with the review module, show you how easy it is to actually find the license plate that we're looking for, either through watch lists, either through the existing video, or through data uploads. Then move over to the response side of things to actually create a live alert, which I will demonstrate on how to create a live alert through those watch lists. And then finally, go to the reporting tool, our BI tool, as Heather mentioned, and show you the research capability and the export capability of the errant vehicle. So at this point, I would also like to point out that our license plate recognition is completely in the wild, and it is built for in the wild solution. So at this point, if Tertius, if you can forward me again,
okay,
the ability to present.
So I'm going to make you the presenter.
Thank you very much. And within a couple of seconds, I shall be presenter again. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so in this scenario, I would like to paint a picture where we were notified that there's a license plate in the scene, and it's a red car with we don't have a complete license plate, we have a partial one, and the digits were ending with 13. So what I'll do is I'll go into my license plate recognition filter. I will try to add a plate, and I'll say I will put an asterisk because I don't know what the rest of the plate is, and I'll put in the digits 1, 3, and I'll click on add. As soon as I do that, automatically out of 108 objects, you're down to 2. And the first object that you see on the screen is a truck, which has a number plate with 1, 3 in it, definitely not the vehicle we're looking for. And therefore, I would continue looking for the vehicle. And as I play the screen, oh, there, lo and behold, there it is. It's a red Dodge, and it has a license plate of 1, 3. If I reach out of my synopsis, I can actually see the vehicle, and I can see that it is there. So if I play the video, I have the ability to now do the second bit of it and add the plate, which I have done so to my license plate recognition. At this point, I can create a watch list. I will do that because now I want to have live tracking of this vehicle. So I'll say, here's a red Dodge, and everyone keep a lookout for it. So I have just created a red Dodge. Okay, click on create, click on add. Oh, where is it? Okay. And that's about it. Yeah. So I've just created a red Dodge as a watch list. I also have the ability to maybe even, if I'm not mistaken, I can even add it to an existing list. And I click on add, and that would add it to an existing list if I wanted to. Now that I know that this is the errant vehicle, I want to track it. I can go into my respond module, which is our live alerting tool, where I'll go into rules. I would add a rule, a smart alert. I would go into next. I would say rule for red Dodge. Go into next, choose the road that I feel that the car is going to be on based on our intelligence, and I'll keep it on continuous. I have the ability to run it once, daily or weekly schedules, but I want to keep it continuous because I want to track this car. And I'll go into license plate recognition. There you see the red Dodge that I created, and I click on apply. And now I've just created a rule called red Dodge, and anytime a camera captures it, it will instantly notify me. And that brings me to the last part of it, because now my business intelligence tool already has all the lists of the red car, the vehicle, where it appeared, the start time of it, the end time of it, and it was a red colored car, and at what speeds it was traveling. So this completely exemplifies how you start from a forensics point of view to a respond, and then finally to a research. With that, I will send it back to you, Tertius. Changing presenters. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to Hyder, just show my screen. Okay, so over to you, Hyder.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Tertius. So it's all about the actionable data. So we've discussed and we've seen the examples here. So how do we make the data actionable? That's what really matters. We are having data coming in terms of petabytes or zettabytes, as Tertius mentioned. And you can well imagine in a smart city or safe city, you can have several thousands of cameras. And there's so much enormous amount of data that is being generated because we're talking about high megapixel cameras now, 4K, multi-sensor cameras. And the demands have increased. Industry has evolved so much, and then there's so much data that is being generated. How do we make all this data actionable? That is what I want to highlight here. Next slide, please. So here, as you can see, what we have also done is, how do we bring intelligence, or how do we extract intelligence from all this video data? For those who have already worked with Milestone or the valuable partners or resellers that we have, you might know that with the video data, we also record the metadata. The metadata is the information that is coming along with the video. What we have launched in our latest releases is that we can perform search on the metadata that comes along with the video, because we store this metadata as part of our video database separately. In our latest release, we have launched 3 categories. It's not, let me clarify here for everyone to be very clear on this. It's not that we have implemented the analytics as such. All we are doing is the metadata that is coming with the video. We have made the capability or introduced the capability to search that metadata. Now, this really helps again in the investigation. You've seen the example where Mo went in and he was looking for certain period of time where you create a case, you give it the source data, and you give it the time, for example, certain hours or certain days for BriefCam to go in and look for that video and process that video and bring out the results. Now, what if, and it requires, to be honest, it requires some time, because you're doing a lot of processing on the video, you're extracting a lot of information. Now, what if Milestone is capable by reducing that video footage itself? So you have petabytes of data, but since we are looking for vehicles only, I don't need to go through and search for petabytes of video and extract the video that is having video. So what I can do in Milestone is, with having this metadata search capability, I can put in a search filter on petabyte of video, for example, and extract the results of the video that is only having vehicle, that is only having a person passing by. And also I can search a filter based on geolocations. So like I mentioned, you can have several thousand of cameras. We can perform a search filter based on metadata inside Milestone, based on vehicle, based on people, for example, a person, or based on geolocations. So let's take an example of Dubai as a city. You might have cameras spread across the city in a distributed kind of setup. All you know is that you're looking for a certain vehicle that is on Sheikh Zayed Road at certain exit, for example. You know the geolocation, you put in a search filter, and you know for instance, you know the time, it was at 10 a.m. So you search filter on time, you put a search filter on vehicle, and you search on based on geolocation. Now, instead of browsing the video for several hours, browsing to several cameras, looking for the video of interest for you, you can immediately have that 10 a.m. video on certain geolocation, and the video clip will only be having the vehicles passing through it. Now I can put that video and pass it on to BriefCam, again on our same GUI as I've shown, because it is embedded in Milestone, and I can perform all the advanced analytics that BriefCam offers. That again performs and shows how much faster you can perform your investigation, how much flexibility it offers you, and by combining all this 3 technologies together, you have results within no time, and it really helps you perform your day-to-day operations very efficiently. Next slide, please. Yeah, so again, highlighting with this new release that we have, which is 2020 R2, you will have for all the ONWIF compliant devices, Access being one of them, that generates ONWIF compliant metadata. You have the capability to perform the search functions based on metadata, based on 3 categories: the people, person, or vehicles, and geolocations. Next slide, please. Since we are also talking about LPR, LPR is a search category in our centralized search, which I explained earlier. We also work very closely with Access, and Access has ACAP, whereby you can run the applications on the camera edge itself. So we have some nice applications, and there is an extension to Access Optimizer, which is a very nice tool for us exclusively between Access and Milestone, that really enables all the advanced functionalities and ease of use of Access and Milestone together. There's an extension to Access Optimizer whereby you can perform LPR functionality, whereby you can have the capability to identify vehicle by its color, by its make, model, and you can perform your investigations or for road monitoring or traffic monitoring very efficiently. Also running on Access ACAP along with BriefCam, obviously, which Mo has demonstrated earlier. Again, here I would like to show one example running on BriefCam embedded into Milestone. If you can play the video. So in this video, what we example, we have a case whereby we want to see a car making a traffic violation. In this scene, what we will do is any vehicles that are taking the illegal turn here, which is not allowed, which is against the traffic laws, we want to identify that. And you can draw it, as you can see, and you immediately have 307 results, which is a lot actually, 307 traffic violators. And as Mo was explaining, with the respond tool, you can actually create a live alert, which will be seen into Milestone. With the respond tool, you can generate an alert. You can do a rule kind of a scenario. So whenever there's an illegal U-turn, since we have created that rule inside BriefCam using Milestone, all these alerts, live alerts, will be generated on Milestone Alarm Manager. And you can generate then reports, you can pass it on to your supervisor, and you can perform standard operating procedures based on your day-to-day operations. All those alerts you can then review, and you can have a full information based on illegal U-turn. So here I just want to show, like, along with the LPR functionality, when it comes to traffic management, the traffic flow, for example, you can also implement a lot of other use cases other than just the LPR. For instance, the traffic violations that you've seen and how easy it is to detect and respond to those traffic violations. All these alerts will be generated into Milestone coming from BriefCam through the respond tool, and then you can perform further functionality, further actions on Milestone. You can have it pinpointed on the GIS maps, for example, which is part of our platform. You can pass it on to your supervisor. You can take then further preventive actions, maybe issue a traffic challan, maybe issue a ticket to them, send an SMS, or so and so forth. Further actions based on your standard operating procedures. Next, please.
Sorry, should I go back one?
No, that's fine. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Haider. Okay, so moving into the last challenge. Now we talk about traffic flow monitoring in smart cities. Okay, so as we all know, take a good day in Dubai. The traffic in the afternoons and the mornings can be an absolute nightmare. So how do we adapt and we use technology to maintain traffic flow? As an example, for those of you who stay in the UAE, what happens that 1 or 2 weeks a year where it rains with traffic? It's an absolute nightmare. So how do we use technology to learn from this and to inform the right people at the end of the day? Then also, again, when we analyze the traffic flow, it gives us a very good idea of urban planning to understand where the bottlenecks, how can we improve these, what do we do, and how do we actually improve time that we lost in traffic going to work and traveling to home in the afternoon. So giving over to Mo to give us a bit of an understanding how things happen from the BriefCam side.
Thank you very much, Tertius. So at this point, I'd like to highlight that your cameras are constantly gathering large amounts of big data, either through our respond module or through our review module. What safe cities need is for someone to make sense of it all. We can provide the quantitative analysis of video data and present it to you so that you can derive operational intelligence from it. Our embedded operational intelligence platform utilizes the processed video, and all the objects in the video are assigned metadata such as man, woman, child, vehicle, size, color, speed, and so on and so forth, as Heather mentioned before. This enables users to quantitatively analyze their video, drive actionable intelligence for data-driven safety, security, and operational measures. We offer you the ability to generate customizable reports, dashboards to indicate behavior patterns of traffic, so law enforcement can assess areas of interest or monitor for potential threats. Our BI tool is highly customizable. As Heather has shown before, out of the box, you have the ability to use extensive library of vertical specific dashboards, 19 to be exact, to visually represent object movement, demographic segmentation, behavior trending, hotspots, and object interactions. Now, if none of these 19 dashboards are actually helpful to you, we also have the ability to create a bespoke report for you, and we can do that very easily for you. We have the ability to actually ingest third-party data sources. We can seamlessly correlate video analytics data with third-party data, such as, let's say for retail, for instance, we have the ability to ingest a point of sale terminal data. We have the ability to ingest time management data or access control. One of the things I'd like to highlight is what's brought to the forefront is attaining situational awareness, which has never been more important than today. And the ability to trigger real-time notification of people counting to gain insights about area occupancy has become one of the most sought after tools post the healthcare crisis. Cities and organizations are busy deterring the collection of large crowds or limiting the number of occupants in a predefined area. Our occupancy tool, one of the reports that comes right out of the box, has the ability to generate live data about the formation of such crowds, helping governments and businesses with planning and optimization of their space and traffic flows. These live visitor statistics helps smart cities adhere to occupancy and social distancing mandates set by the authorities. At this point, Tertius, if you could pass on the controls to me again.
You should have control.
Thank you very much, I do. And thank you to the audience for your patience with this back and forth thing. And does everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So I'd like to start with, I'd like to stick to our business intelligence tool for this part of for this segment of the presentation. And as I mentioned, the 19 different vertical specific dashboards are listed here. So one click on this side, you actually get to see our retail dashboard. We have our consumer traffic sales. We have shopper analysis. These all pertain to malls. Then you have checkout analytics, building occupancy tool, which I will come back to in a few, proximity analysis, which is really important as well, and smart city traffic direction, path analysis, traffic violations, and LPR traffic violations, as I previously demonstrated. So let's go to our building occupancy tool. And if you look at this, this is how we present our building occupancy. You have the ability to actually review your current situation as it happens. And if the government mandates change and they say you're not allowed to have 300, but you're only allowed to have 250, it's as quick as this. And now you have a building occupancy, and it shows you up to the minute live of exactly what percentage of your building occupancy you have occupied. Let's, for safety's sake, and because we're good citizens, we go back to 300, and we are at 88% occupancy. You can see the occupancy by percentage. You can see the occupancy by actual numbers. Everything that you see here is of course, information that you can manipulate. You can actually even get information about a certain specific time or period during the day. All of this is possible through our business intelligence tool. I would like to just end with our path analysis, just to give you an idea. Not only can you do, let me reset the filters here. Not only can you have path analysis for just one particular time, but you can actually have it by different dates and by different days. And as we can see, automatically we can see that Fridays being the most busiest part of this main city, which is depicted over here, and how many of them, based on the metadata, are men, how many are cars, how many are women, and in which direction, and which is the most busiest direction on which day. All of this is possible through our business intelligence tool, which is actually gathering all this information from our review and our respond modules. At this point, I end my presentation here, and I hand it over back to you, Tertius.
Thank you, Mo. Okay, thank you very much. So we've had the demo. So Heidi, giving over to Heidi.
Great. Thanks, Tertius. So Mo has highlighted a very important point here. The BI tool or research module, which can ingest the data from the third-party sources as well. And that's where Milestone platform plays a pivotal role. Like I was mentioning, it acts as a glue in between by combining all these nice innovative technologies coming from partners based on this video data coming from Access, and we enable with the video enablement, you can have a lot more intelligence on this data. Now, a typical example could be facial recognition coming from BriefCam, obviously video generated by Access, and you could have an access control system by another partner, and you can combine this data, for example, and you can do some really nice use cases, for example, for occupancy management, or if you just want to see if certain face has access a certain facility how many times during the day by combining all this data, and then you can generate a nice BI using the research module of nice business intelligence report, and you can perform your further analysis on that. If you just click, so here I just want to show with the lot of intelligence that is happening around us, a lot of new innovations. Since we are the open platform, we have Milestone integration platform, which we call as MIP SDK, our open SDK, which is available free of charge to all of our partners for them to develop this nice integrations into Milestone with their technologies, like what we have seen here with BriefCam, how deeply it is integrated and almost embedded into Milestone. With our latest release, we have launched what we call as video processing service. GStreamer is an open source toolkit used by Intel and NVIDIA developers out there. So a lot of these developers, and you must have seen on the social media, even on the press releases, there's a lot of development happening around AI these days. It's a buzzword, the artificial intelligence. A lot of new algorithms are coming up, and a lot of innovations are coming up. Now, we are not restricting that all the integrations have to be done using a Milestone SDK, which actually requires for somebody to go through SDK, get themselves familiarized with it, and then develop the integrations. GStreamer is an open protocol, widely used by developers out there who develops their algorithms based on GPUs or based on Intel chipsets. We have developed an plugin, an adapter to our SDK, whereby you can fetch the video from Milestone, process it using GStreamer, and send the results back to Milestone with all the results, with all the analysis that has been done on this video. It can be hosted on-prem, it can be hosted on cloud as well. So for instance, you can have sort of a cloud setup with all the nice GPUs and Intel chipsets where you want to process all the videos. And you can have really nice AI algorithms that you can run there, process the video, send back the results to on-prem for your operators to take further actions or their efficiency. It adds a lot of efficiency to the day-to-day operations. So it opens up a lot of other flexibilities. We can onboard a lot of new innovations to Milestone, and it really adds up. It gives another dimension of how easily you can add these new innovations to Milestone platform and really scale up your capabilities of your install base. In this example, again, with the BriefCam embedded, if you can play the video, Tertius. Great. So again, analysis of a freeway. Like I was mentioning previously, and we've seen some examples for more as well, you can have traffic violations, you can have different analysis here. Now here in this example, in the freeway, I just want to see motorbikes, but only in the green color. So you can see out of 3,974 results, I can pinpoint to one result, which is the green bike, which is the area object of interest that I was looking for. Other than that, in the traffic, for example, free flow is very important. You can well imagine if something goes wrong and shakes that, you can end up with long traffic queues, which we obviously want to avoid, and we want to react to it if something happens. Here in this example, we can have a filter on dwell time. If a car stops for a certain period of time on a freeway, you can get a live alert on Milestone through BriefCam, and then you can take preventive actions. Again, the importance of the research tool that we have, the business intelligence tool. You can monitor at the end of the day or based on your requirements, hourly basis, the flow of the traffic, the direction, the areas which are most concentrated where you have a lot of traffic or footfall, and then you can, it really will inform decisions based on that. You may have to deploy extra security there, you may have to dispatch a police patrol there to take some actions. So all of these can happen based on the data that is generated through Access with their video capabilities, BriefCam performing their advanced functionality, and Milestone platform bringing all this together with all the advanced feature set that we have and making this a really powerful investigative tool and also really powerful platform with all this combined synergy for you to take and implement really nice use cases for your daily operations. Next, please.
Is this the same?
Yeah, next slide, please.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ida. Thanks, Mo. So from my side, just an additional slide I want to share with you guys. Again, we spoke about earlier, cameras used to be pure security devices. In a city environment, I would just like to use this as an example where one device could have multiple use cases for different authorities. So it just shows you how the world has changed from a smart city perspective. And again, we can consider public safety, urban mobility, and even environmental monitoring, where we could consider things like flooding as an example. So to conclude from our side, just to highlight the power of our partnership together, from Access, it's extremely important, again, when you look at the forensic details, whether it's difficult lighting, whether it's poor weather conditions, whether there's even vibrations in the camera, the forensic details, whereas we look at things like the quality, the colors, are they true, are they giving you a real world indication? This becomes extremely important in this context, and really when we take this video to the next level, how this plays such a big part in this whole equation. And then when we go to BriefCam mode, just a conclusion from your side.
Sure. So at the end of the day, the amount of video being recorded is overwhelming. We are overwhelmed by both the capacity of the data, as you mentioned, it's going into zettabytes, and the limitation of our cognitive abilities to internalize their content. In other words, we can't realize the full value of our surveillance systems because we are severely limited by the time it takes us to review the video and by the time it takes us to fully understand what we have just reviewed. In order to comprehend the content of all this video and transform it into something understandable, meaningful, actionable, our smart cities need breakthrough analytics that can help them rapidly review surveillance videos and pinpoint people, vehicle, faces, and behaviors of interest, so that our cities are not just smart cities, but they are safe cities too. Thank you. Heather, to you.
Great, thank you. Very well put by both Access and BriefCam. Milestone obviously acts as a platform, And we have discussed few cases here, 3 of them to be precise, but there's no limit to it. You can actually implement lots and lots of use cases based on your requirements. The whole idea of what we are discussing here is how we make all this data actionable and how do we bring intelligence to all this data. And that's where Milestone plays a very important role, bringing all these technologies together by managing this video data and bringing intelligence to it. Intelligence to the BriefCam, intelligence through ACAP with various applications running on Axis on the edge itself, and making use of it and bringing all this intelligence and data together. You can implement a lot more use cases, and there's no limit to it. You can add a lot of innovation to your install bases. You can implement a lot of different use cases based on your requirements, and you can actually really have a smart city based on your requirements. As Tershi was mentioning, you have applications that can measure the water level. With the advent of IoT, for example, the buzzword in the industry today, you have a lot more sensors other than just the video sensors. You have temperature sensor, humidity sensor, weather sensors. All of this information can be brought to Milestone platform, and we can make good use of it and implement really nice and innovative use cases for our daily use. And hence we make smart city not just smarter, but we make smart city a safe city as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Haider. Thank you, Mo. So I'm going to jump over to the Q&A now. I've seen there's one question for you, Haider. It was asked, what are the benefits of Milestone platform when it comes to sensors and other devices rather than video in a smart city? And how do we combine and use them with video on Milestone platform?
Sure. Like I just mentioned, IoT, and a good question. Thank you for that. Optical sensor is just one source of data, obviously the most important one because it has got video to it. But as you've seen these days, even the cameras are getting more smarter. Cameras, the edge devices getting very intelligent as well. You've got built-in motion sensors. You've got a lot of other functionality to it. So other than the optical sensors, there's a lot of intelligence on the camera itself. But the IoT, it could be temperature sensor, it could be humidity sensor, smart lighting sensor. So slightly off topic, what we have also launched is what we call as Milestone Driver Framework, which is actually targeted towards the IoT devices, which are just not the optical sensor. Driver Framework is an extension to our device driver, whereby any vendor or any partner of ours who's having any sensor, IP sensor, and they want to integrate it into Milestone, Driver Framework is the framework that allows you to do that. It has got a set of APIs available whereby they can implement the driver, self-test it, and launch it, and that device, that IoT device will be supported onto Milestone. We have launched this recently. A lot of our partners are already working on it. If you have already done some developments, the drivers are available, which are not just the optical sensor, but other sensors of offering temperature readings, offering weather conditions, lighting sensors. So driver framework is the functionality, is a framework that are available for our partners to develop the integrations into Milestone based on IoT, and it will scale. We foresee a lot of other partners who will develop drivers to Milestone, and hence we see that that there will be a lot more sensors available supported on Milestone, whereby you can perform different use cases, you can implement different functionalities, and you can implement much more other than just having a video source of data. But data could be anything. It could be temperature, like I said, it could be any other reading, it could be water level reading, which Tertius mentioned, based on certain sensor. So driver framework in a nutshell is a framework that is available for IoT devices that partners can use and develop the driver for Milestone integration. Thank you.
Thank you, Haider. Thank you. Just for the attendees that's still online, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the questions window. There was another question from Suhaib. What insights can you provide for video analytics at the edge? Can we deploy video analytics at the edge via Milestone? To answer your question, yes, you can deploy video analytics at the edge. Access cameras have edge-based analytics called ACAP, which is called Access Camera Application Platform, and these could do anything from LPR to flood levels. There's a variety. I think there's over 100 different analytics that we can use now on the camera itself. There's also the new generation cameras is becoming more and more intelligent, where we can start applying machine learning and AI by means of dedicated DLPUs or deep learning processor units in the cameras themselves. And how we integrate this is through a tool called Access Optimizer, which gives you 100% functionality of the camera in Milestone. So any feature that the camera has will work 100% in Milestone with no issues. So you have full functionality of your product. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to type your questions. Can one run Milestone BriefCam independently of each other? As far as I know, yes. Either, Mo?
So come again, please.
The question is, can one run Milestone and BriefCam independently of each other?
Well, you could, but then again, you will be having a standalone system. You will not. So BriefCam is analytics, right? It needs a video source. Now, when you talk about complete solution stack, you can have, for example, AVI video that you can upload to BriefCam for the processing. In that sense, it runs as independent. But when you're talking about full system deployed, you need a video source, a platform that is managing the video. BriefCam doesn't manage the video, it processes the videos. So you need a storage system, you need a platform that is reporting the system, that is offering all the capabilities of video management as such, and then offer that video to BriefCam to perform those analysis that they do. But in theory, yes, you can run BriefCam as independent, but then you would be able be providing the video source in terms of pre-recorded or how can I say, the video that is generated as a file. It could be AVI file that can be uploaded to BriefCam for their analysis. That makes it a little bit cumbersome because it's not efficient. Every time you have to get the video file as such, you will not be having real-time events as such, for example. So if you're looking for really efficient and a scenario with having a full solution stack, it works best for your day-to-day cases, for the Respond tool, for example, to generate events, and then you can make use of platforms like Milestone, having geolocation of the events, having smart maps, for example, GIS maps, and all the other alarm management, alarm reporting tools, for example, passing on the alarm to supervisor, calling 999, for example, in terms of emergencies. All of that will not be available, which is the core platform functionalities. But in theory, yes, you can run BriefCam individual, but it will be somewhat restricted. It will not get all the platform functionalities that are actually required in full-blown setup or full-blown solution deployment, as we say.
Excellent.
I'd just like to add to that. Sorry, I'd just like to add to that our deepest level of integration is with Milestone. So the best experience would be to have a Milestone BriefCam experience, but BriefCam can on its own be used without Milestone. So as Heather said, so yes.
Thank you. Excellent. So thank you very much again for those who attended. You guys will get an email after the session, just with my details, with Heider's details, and also Mo's details if you want to reach out to any of us and get additional information. You'll also get some documentation with the send out. And yeah, thank you very much again for everybody for attending. I'm just going to be meaningful or try to be meaningful of time. And yeah, have a good afternoon. Take care, stay safe, and all the best.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for joining.